Okay, today we mentioned talking about a Middle East envoy. By the time we go to air, probably be named. Professor Watson, how important is this position, an envoy, somebody to say, we need peace, we need this to be settled?
It's absolutely important. The president has the bully pulpit. If the president has a conversation with the press or the public about homelessness, all of a sudden it becomes a national conversation. It's on the show, it's on the front page of the newspaper. And an envoy is a strong symbolic step that we need to reinvigorate the peace process, which was neglected for too many years. And it's going to be a very big, very long row to hoe on the farm. We've got two potentially unwinnable, difficult wars we would all agree on. The world's largest trade deficit, our popularity around the world is perhaps at an all-time low, and now we have the crisis in Gaza, and everyone would agree that in the larger Middle East region, any prospect for peace is hinging on some degree of stability and harmony in that particular area.
Sid, obviously it's a much different position than we saw from the Bush White House when it comes to pulling out of Iraq. A shorter time frame anyway, let's say that. Will Republicans, in your opinion, in Congress, support moves that kind of move up deadlines? And
there's no moves that moves up. The war in Iraq is won. There are 14,000 Iraqis standing for 400 positions in their next election. People, as we talk about here, people who Obama has enthused, who are coming out to get involved in public service, they are coming out everywhere in Iraq. 25 million liberated people. They know who liberated them. They thank the United States of America every day. So that's an easy one. They'll be home earlier than the 16 months that Barack Obama talked about in the campaign. Afghanistan is trickier, and the Middle East is trickier still. Having an envoy is a good thing. If the Obama position is one of moral equivalence, he will have immediate political problems at home, very many in his own party. There is no moral equivalence between people in Gaza who don't have a single Israeli there sending missiles into towns in Israel for no reason other than to try to kill people, and the Israelis defending themselves. And Obama has a history prior to his campaign where a lot of people are watching this very, very carefully. And we hope that he has the courage to stand up for Israel, which is a great ally, a great country, and has every right to exist alongside its neighbors who don't seem to have any desire to exist.
But in realistic world, this war didn't just start 10, 20 years ago. It is a war that has gone on for centuries. What kind of pressure does a president feel walking into an office, especially with the strong Israel, especially here in Palm Beach County, a huge Jewish community that's watching this war moment by moment?
Well, you can be a president, and then you can be a wartime president. It's apples and oranges. It changes the equation, and he has inherited multiple conflicts, so he's a war president. A couple of things. Iraq will remain a difficult issue, as will Afghanistan. I agree with Sid that Iraq and Afghanistan are apples and oranges. I would disagree that we've won, per se. Before we pat ourselves on the back, we need to realize that the rift between the Sunni and Shia is still there. The border with Iran is still not closed. The region's destabilized. The Saudis are Sunni and they're not going to put up with Shia influence from Iran in that region. Iran's still misbehaving. Syria and Hezbollah, backed by Iran, are still misbehaving. Pakistan is a problem. Russia's leaking nuclear technology like the Titanic. There is it's not even a full plate, it's a buffet of issues waiting for Barack Obama. We can go into it at least hopeful that he is focused on it, and his record on Israel has been is beyond question. It's strong. AIPAC gives him a full thumbs up. The ADL gives him a full thumbs up. Whether it's the fencer wall, whether it's aid for Israel, loan guarantees, key vetoes in the UN, immigration, trade agreements, Obama's a strong voting record as a friend of Israel. So he's going to approach it from a perspective that I think a lot of folks in the United States would be pleased with.
Well, let's bring it a little closer to home. Last night, lots of celebrations, most of us watching the balls, but there were several right here at home, people on the streets, people having in the city of West Palm, in Delray Beach, really celebrating a new hope. Let's take a look at what some people hope happens now that Obama's in office.
I think that America has taken a great leap of faith, has made great strides in where we were even 10 years ago, but certainly 50 years ago. We still have a ways to go, but I think just by what we witnessed today is evident that we've come a long way.
Basically, it's going to take some time, but I see more hope and love. And that to me is very important. It's just a lot of peace in the world.
I am encouraged that this is it's taking it to a whole new step, and this next generation hopefully won't have to, well, we know it won't have to deal with what we've had to deal with, but there's a lot more work that has to be done.
Addie, a lot more work has to be done. Let's bring it home. Palm Beach County and politics, not good words put together lately. We've seen a lot of trouble, especially county commissioners and other politicians. People have lost faith. They have just lost faith. Do you think what the people on the streets are saying, that maybe this president can change things even as far down as right here in our own backyard?
I think this is what really pivoted Obama to take the lead in this race, is because he hit a nerve due to the foreclosures, recession. Everybody really, you had the rich taken away from the rich, you had the rich taken from the poor, crime is up, everything was just bad. And when he started campaigning, he hit a nerve, but that nerve was a nerve that hit everybody. It crossed racial lines. And I go back to what Dr. Martin Luther King and a lot of those civil rights workers, black, white, Jews, all of them were marching for the same thing. And those people died, and every one of us know what those people died for. However, somewhere along the line, we lost hope. And when Obama came along, now they're saying we have sunk so low, we have nowhere else to go but up. And so now everybody is looking at Obama as, okay, now we may have another opportunity to move ahead. And I hope that we don't get caught up in the moment and lose focus again. We have one more opportunity.
It's interesting because there is a lot of hope, but is it too much hope, Professor, in one man? I mean, that's some of what I watched over the last few days. They've asked experts, they asked Colin Powell, is it too much to expect this? He's still a man. You know, he's still a man. Sure. He's still a man, as we've all talked about the last few minutes, facing things most people would not volunteer to face.
Sure. Well, it's two sides. On one hand, I was enthused, as Commissioner Greene was saying, as you looked out along that sea of faces, smiling, crying, applauding, cheering, hugging one another. You saw the diverse tapestry that is this country, ethnically, religiously. And as a professor, I was particularly pleased to see so many young people involved in the process, traveling there, just enjoying the moment, and beginning to be a part of the American democratic experiment. On the other hand, this is absolutely bigger than any one person. We all would agree that we need to change the culture politically, but Obama seems to be a good vehicle for it, and he's been successful thus far. Now, he has a monumental task in front of him. But one of the things I liked the most about his speech, it wasn't just inspirational. It's very sober, very somber. He told us that we need to take responsibility. He told us it's going to take years. He told us we all need to get a part of it. It's too big for the president, too big for Congress. So it's a type of transformational call to service that I think we've seen with a Kennedy or Lincoln or some of the great presidents in history.
Perfect opening, because we're going to take a look nearing the end of his speech. He quoted Washington, and a quote that I think many people were kind of surprised. They didn't maybe expected him to quote Lincoln, because we all know that was really his idol in politics. But he came out with a quote that I thought it was quite fitting. Let's take a look, and then we can talk about that.
At a moment when the outcome of our revolution was most in doubt, the father of our nation ordered these words be read to the people. Let it be told to the future world that in the depth of winter, when nothing but hope and virtue could survive, that the city and the country, alarmed at one common danger, came forth to meet it. America, in the face of our common dangers, in this winter of our hardship, let us remember these timeless words. With hope and virtue, let us brave once more the icy currents and endure what storms may come. Let it be said by our children's children that when we were tested, we refused to let this journey end, that we did not turn back nor did we falter. And with eyes fixed on the horizon and God's grace upon us, we carried forth that great gift of freedom and delivered it safely to future generations. Thank you.